Hi, welcome back to my second video here on Cisco Packet Tracer. Today we are going to look at on Cisco Packet Tracer, and I will show you how to create a VLAN using 2 switches and 4 computers. This is a very basic for anyone who is doing internet network designing courses and stuff like that. This is going to be very useful. So I'll just follow very simple, easy steps, but we just need to consider how to do it. So on Cisco Packet Tracer, you can design a network from 2 computers or 100 computers, doesn't matter the number. You can design something that goes into a real world. So we do here simulation on the Cisco Packet Tracer. Now, if you are not familiar with Cisco Packet Tracer, you need to download Cisco Packet Tracer from Cisco website. You need to create an account or use your Gmail account to create an account and download the software. For here on Cisco Packet Tracer, you need to make yourself familiarized where stuffs are, where you can add nodes and redo and zoom and all those type of things, and there are so many things here. For this purpose that we're going to do, click on network devices, and the first thing I do is this. I'll just take switches. We only going to use switches for this study, switches and PCs. So I'll take 2 switch and 4 PCs. 2, 3, 4. And what we are going to do is we're going to create 2 network, and we segment the network by creating a VLAN or virtual LAN, which means is a virtual local area network. So just using switch, there's no any routing because we're not going to use a router, but there will be a communication between all the PCs through this VLAN configuration. And I'll take a crossover copper for connecting 2 switches, and I'll select /24 on this side and /24 on the other side as well. So now my switches are connected, and copper straight I use to connect my 2 PCs here on this side, 1 and 2, and the same thing FA0, 1 here, and FA0, 2 for the second PC. Now, after we have this is what we have, what we call it as a network topology. I will rename the PCs accordingly. So we'll start from PC4. Backward is easy. PC4 and PC3. Just click there and rename them PC2 and that one PC1. So we go PC1, PC2, PC3, and PC4. They're all going to be on different VLAN. So we just put some information on the table here so that we can configure those information. And I'll just type here VLAN, just use a capital VLAN 10 for this PC and VLAN 20 for this PC. Again, VLAN 10 and VLAN 20 here. So VLAN 20. So we have 2 VLANs. For this side, 2 10 and 20, and this side 10 and 20. That's both 2 different networks. So they will be communicating through some configuration. We need to do a configuration here. Second thing is we need to assign an IP address for these PCs. So 192, I'll use this one. You can use any number, 192.168.10.10. And for this one, I'll use 192.168.10.11. And this side, I use 192.168.10.20. Same on this one, 192.168.10.30. All right, we have that IP address allocation for this. Now we'll do the next step for configuration. The click logical. So we'll tie up this one a little bit later. So I'm just going to click here on the switch. Click on the first switch, and let's go and configure our switch and enter. You got a switch here. You can type here enable terminal configure terminal and host name S1 because it's gonna be switch 1, and then we create the VLAN. So exit and then enter again, enable terminal config T, and create the VLAN now. VLAN 10, enter, name the VLAN, we call it user, first one, and enter, and exit. And again, the second one is VLAN 20, and enter, name the VLAN, call it admin maybe for this purpose, or just any as according to your business requirement, admin, and exit. That's a command. Now this is the first switch. So what we do is we've got interface here for the first switch, which is FA024, and on this side is also FA024. So we just need to finish the first configuration on that. So the next step is interface, a short interface FA0/24. You type, enter. So interface 0/24, switch port mode trunk. Right, now the same step you have to do it on the second switch. Now I click here, enable configure terminal and host name, host name is S2, enter, and you can exit, and to check your configuration you go back, there you are on S2, and now again enable config terminal, and we create the VLAN 10, name the same as the other one, user, and second one exit on from this, and then put the second VLAN 20, exit, and name as admin, and exit. Now you need to configure that interface FA0/2024/24 enter, same command, switch port mode trunk, switch mode port trunk. All right, interface 0/24 switch port mode trunk. Yeah, that's right, and exit. The next step is to assign IP address for the PCs, and we will come back to the switch again. So now if you look at here, all the link is up, they're all connected, but they're not still going to work, they're not still going to communicate. So I'm going to add the IP configuration on the PC. We don't have a default gate on this because we're not using any router, and we're going to use a static IP address, not a dynamic, for this purpose. And I will use the first IP address was 192.168.10.10. No default gateway, we just use a subnet mask /24 and close that. Same on the second PC, desktop, IP configuration, put the IP address that you assign for this PC again. So that's 192.168.10.11. Same subnet mask, exit, third PC, same procedure, static IP address 192.168.10.20, and close that one, and then PC4 for same static IP address 192.168.10.30, and same, and then you close, because we don't have as I said, we don't have a default gateway because no router. Now all the PCs are connected to each other through this configuration. Now we test our connection or connectivity. To do that, we just use protocol datagram unit. Click on that one and click on PC1 and send a message to PC2. PC1 and PC2 are successfully connecting, right? So they're communicating now, right now. And PC3 and PC4, they are connected. Now we need to divide the network into different VLAN, assign them onto different VLANs, so that one PC only access to that specific VLAN. Now we go here, so you see the switch port FA01. Now I'll click here and go back to the switch again, enable configuration. Now I'll do interface FA0/1, which is your first port here for the first PC. FA/01, enter, switch port mode. You need to give it this, otherwise it's not gonna work. Switch port mode access, enter, switch port access VLAN 10. So that PC1 only can access VLAN 10, and then enter and exit. Here we are. Now second one, my second PC here, PC2. Now what we do is the same thing. Interface FA0/2, because we have 0/2 here, and enter, switch port mode access, and enter, switch port access VLAN 20. Enter and exit. That's how you do it. So you have just give a permission for PC2 to access only VLAN 20, not VLAN 10. Now let's test these first two PCs if they are able to communicate or not. Then we will go to the next configuration. I'll close that one down, and here the internet communication message protocol will tell you that whether your configuration is successful or not. So if I click again here and I want PC1 to talk to PC2, it's failed, because now they are on different VLAN, different segmentation. They can't communicate. Now we'll change that one. That's the purpose of this tutorial, is that we need to change that. We need to make some configuration, and these pieces should be able to communicate each other. Now second one here, I'll go the same thing on PC3. On the second switch, because the PC3 is on the second switch, we'll go on second switch, click there, so I change the name of the switches. I think I did. Okay, I'll just change it here because it's just giving me a confusion. I'll put a 2, and this one we go 0, so I'll put that one 1 for the display. Now if I click here, it is PC2. So on this one, I'll do again exit and enable config T, configure terminal. Then now we will assign the PCs, the interfaces. So the first one is interface FA0/1, enter, switch port mode access, enter, switch port access VLAN 10. Now PC3 will access VLAN 10 and enter and exit. And the second one we're gonna do is interface FA0/2, the second interface, switch port mode access, enter, switch port access VLAN 20 and enter and exit. Now configuring VLAN using 2 switches and 4 computer, we have successfully able to connect all the 4 pieces without a VLAN, and with VLAN we have able to connect those desired network to communicate each other. So now I will click here, and if I click on PC1, which is VLAN 10, and request a connection to VLAN 3, is successful. Same with VLAN 2 and VLAN 4 is successful. Here you can see on my screen successful PC2 to PC4. But let me try this. And if I go for PC4 to PC3, failed because there are 2 different segmentation. Now, in the next video, we'll create the same thing but using a router and a switch, and by creating inter-VLAN, we will be able to make all the pieces communicate each other. So for this purpose, we are successfully achieved to create 2 VLANs and 2 different networks and 2 different VLANs, and they are able to connect each other. This is how it is. As I said before, all the configuration, I will put that for your future reference. But thank you for watching for this video for now, and I'll complete this for today.